So I was playing golf the other day with my buddy Landon back there. Give it up for Landon. And see, my favorite hole in the course is the one that you actually don't play. It's called the 19th hole, and it's where you go after the round and drink cold drinks and depress on how bad you played that day. So at the 19th hole, it's just typically a bunch of dudes just hanging out. And there's always gorgeous bartenders there. So our bartender, and specifically, we were talking to her a little bit throughout the day, and I asked her, I said, I'm doing this comedy night on Wednesday, and I could use your advice. I said, what's the number one thing you've learned at the bars? And she said, well, the number one things I've learned at the bars is that most guys are assholes. I said, most guys are assholes. I didn't think you were gonna go there with that. She said, well, what's the number one thing you've learned from the bars? And I said, the number one thing I've learned from the bars is how to not be an asshole. and that's the thing. I feel like I've learned so much from the bars. I've met so many incredible people there. And I wanted to put a highlight on that tonight because sometimes maybe someone says something that shouldn't be said, or someone has a little bit too much to drink and there's a negative reputation around here. But I learned a while back that where the people are, the opportunities arise. And we're around some great people tonight. So give it up for yourself for being in here. So the first thing I learned was actually when I used to go to this bar down the road. It was called Brother Jimmy's. Now, for those of you who don't know what yeah, give it up. It's not here anymore, so we might as well celebrate it. So for those of you who don't know what Brother Jimmy's is, if you're 22 years old, you're a veteran there. And I'm there. I just moved to this area. I'm from Binghamton, New York. And I go to this bar. Yeah. There's a back area where there's a dance floor. A lot of good memories there. But before it turns into a dance floor, it's where people hang out. And the girls are trying to look good for the guys, and the guys are trying to meet the girls. So one girl in particular really stuck out to me. She's standing right there, and guys are just going up to her, 1 minute there, then disappearing. They're going up to her, 1 minute there, disappearing. Going up to her, 1 minute there, then disappearing. I'm like, man, I might as well be one of those guys if everybody in here is getting turned down. But I said, you know what? I'm gonna learn something from this. So I go up to her, I said, hey, I'm just curious. I see all these guys coming up to you and just walking away. What do you look for in a guy? And meanwhile, this girl is a 10 out of 10 on a bad day. And she says, well, yeah. She says, well, I'll tell you what. Every guy who comes up to me says the same exact thing. And I took a long time to look good tonight. I'm here with my girls, and I'm just trying to have a good time. I want to be around a guy who can make me laugh. So that's why I'm here tonight trying to figure that out. So I've been on this journey trying to figure out how to be a funny guy. And one of the things I learned along the way was that I absolutely hate when I'm out there with my friends just trying to have a good time. And I meet a girl, and she goes, what do you do? And whether I say I'm a stripper or a CEO of a company, there's an automatic judgment. So I've been trying this thing lately, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. So this girl the other day, I'm at Sign of the Whale, one of my favorite bars in the world. And I introduced myself to this girl. I'm like, hey, what's your name? And she tells me her name. And then she goes, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm in the adult entertainment industry. And she goes, oh, you're in the adult entertainment industry? I said, girl, keep your eyes up here. That's only for my clientele. So then, I kid you not, she goes, so do you have an office around here? I said, yeah. So 2 miles up the road, we got a whole production studio. And it's beautiful. They put this all together for us. And when we have breaks, they have waters, they have fruits, and for the very long days, they got Viagra for us. So at this point, we're just having a blast, and she's like dying. She can't tell if I'm serious or not. I end up talking to her friend a little bit, and a guy comes up to her, and I'm kind of like listening in. And the guy goes, "What do you do for work?" And she goes, "I'm actually in the adult film industry." And I am just dying because this guy's dying, she's dying, we're dying, and it was just a blast. And then one thing I've been messing around with, I got to give a shout out to my friend Rob Trezee, otherwise known as Kyle Butler. We used to go out in the town when we were younger, and he would introduce himself depending on the person, his real name or his fake name. So I'm like, you know what? I want to have fun with that. So I'm actually Puerto Rican. And yeah, exactly. Nobody believes me when I say that. And I feel like I'm a disgrace to my mother because I don't speak Spanish, I don't look Puerto Rican, and quite frankly, I don't have a Puerto Rican name. So, one thing that I do a lot now is I try and pay tribute to my Puerto Rican roots. And so when I introduce myself to someone now, I go, "Hey, my name's Jose." And it's a lot of fun when I do that. So another thing that I learned from the bar is I was having drinks with this 70-year-old guy. Some of my best friends in the world are like 70 years old. I'm so fascinated by the knowledge that they have. And we're sitting there having drinks, and this is a guy who you don't want to take marriage advice from the first 30 years of his love life. Now, the next 20 years after that, he married someone he really liked, and I had a lot of respect for him. So I was curious about getting advice on the things that he learned and the things that he didn't. And he said, "Brandon, when I was younger, I learned how to dance. And I learned that if I knew how to do that, it would never be a problem again to get the ladies." I said, "Oh, I want to figure that out." So at first, I was in college and I used to go to this waterhole bar, and they would play this song, and it was like, "To the left, to the left, to the right, to the right, now kick, now kick." Yeah, who knows that song? So I was like, wow, this dancing thing's easy. They're literally telling me what to do. But then, I kid you not, I moved up to Stamford, Connecticut, and I didn't have many friends. So Mike over here was my boss, and he's like, "Hey, come out with me and my boys. We'll show you around town." So we go to this bar called Bar-Q. Now, this bar hasn't been around for a long time for a reason. Yeah, see, some people recognize it. And we're in this circle on the dance floor. And these guys, I kid you not, they look like they got trained by Michael Jackson on how to dance. And I'm like, damn, I'm just trying to fit in. So I'm doing like one of these, one of those, one of these. And I kid you not, Mike comes up to me after, he's like, "Bro, you look like a robotic white boy up there. We got to work on that." So he has this dance move. Mike, do you mind showing them this dance move that you taught me? This is what made me really realize that I don't know how to dance. Maybe someone could get a little beat going right now.
Which is it upper body?
Wicka, 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 wah. So he's like showing me these moves. I said, "Well, Mike, I don't know how to do that." And he said, "Listen, I didn't either. So what I did is I used to practice in front of a mirror." So I'm like, okay, now I'm a bad dancer and I have to look at myself being a bad dancer. So I'm like doing that in front of a mirror, and of course I'm seeing the awkward head nod, the side to sides, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll figure that out. So I started practicing it, and now I'm very proud to say that I'm the guy at the wedding that's dancing with all the aunts, dancing with all the moms, dancing with the bridesmaids, and making the smiles more alive than they've been in a while. And I'm super grateful for that, so I'm glad you're here tonight. Now, the last thing that I wanted to highlight that I've learned from the bars over the years is that there's a lot of goddamn good people. See, when I first moved here, I always felt so awkward when I was at the bar and then there was a cute girl next to me and I didn't know what to say. I was so embarrassed from getting turned down. I was so embarrassed from the rejection. And so I wouldn't say anything. And I'm like, no, I gotta switch that. I gotta switch that. So I started buying all these programs. I started asking all these people. And I found out that the best compliment that you could give is just to go up to someone and say, hi, what's your name? And I started doing that, and I was amazed how almost everybody would talk to me. I was like, wow, I think I got it figured out. But I didn't. And I realized that one of my friends, Sonia, I was in a conversation with her probably 5 years ago, and she said, Brandon, I really like talking to you, like you're a really good guy, but every time we're having a conversation, it just feels like I'm getting interviewed. So I said, okay, maybe I got to figure out how to stop asking questions when I'm talking to someone. So of course, anyone who knows me, I go into learning mode. I'm like, okay, how can I figure out how to have a conversation without asking questions? So I found out that there was this guy, Chris Voss, who wrote this book called Never Split the Difference. He was a master negotiator. So if there's a bank that's getting robbed, they call this guy to make sure that the robber doesn't kill everyone in there and that the money stays put. So Chris Voss said, hey, if you learn how to mirror and if you learn how to label, then you'll be all right. You don't even have to ask a question and people will have heart-to-hearts with you all night. So I said, what's a mirror? And he said a mirror is when you simply repeat what someone said. So I would go out to the bars and I was so fascinated by this. Someone would be like, I just saw Taylor Swift last night. You saw Taylor Swift last night? Yeah, you would never believe it. There was 300 people there was like 300 people in my section and all of us were wearing the same colors. and then the label was very interesting. So, hey, what do you like doing? Oh, well, I love Taylor Swift. Oh, it seems like you really, really enjoy what she does. Oh, yeah, you would never believe it. When I was 6 years old, I went to my first show, and it was Taylor Swift. And then they just go on and on and on. And I'm like, wow, I think I figured something out. And so I'm saying this all to say that I'm so grateful for all of the people that I've met at the bars, because my goal with Warm Heart Life is to grow together with as many people as possible. And the bars have given me an opportunity to connect with people on a one-on-one level every single night. A lot of the times my friends would be like, once I started getting good at this, they'd be like, Brandon, it seems like you're like getting to know a new person every single night. It seems like you're having a heart-to-heart with someone every single night. And I said, it's true, and I'm addicted to it. It's one of the coolest things because, as my friend Carl said, everybody has a story, and just taking time to listen to their stories, I'm just so blown away by the people that we have around here. So whether you have a drink or not, if you can do me a favor, why don't we stand up real quick? Why don't you raise your glass? Let's raise your glass. And I want to do a cheers. I want to do a toast to tonight. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Thank you for taking the time, energy, and effort to come here. Yeah, raise your glass. Raise your glass. Yeah. Yeah. You never know what the person to the left of you, to the right of you, in front of you, or behind you can do to change your life. You never know when you'll need that person at the hardest time of your life. You never know when you'll need that person to celebrate a great accomplishment. And you got a lot of incredible people in this room. So give it up for yourself for being in this room today. Come on.